Hi, welcome to my next series of Angular 4, and today we will discuss about Angular 4 routing. And in this session I'll discuss about basic routing, starting with the basic routing first, and then we will see the other forms of routing. Okay, so I have already started my server using the ngserve command, so it has started successfully, and I have already opened my editor. That is the Visual Studio Code editor. Now, why do we need routing? In Angular 4, we basically make a single page application, and nowadays like it's a trend of a single page application only, where you don't have to refresh the full application page. Only the part of the application, the part of the view of the application will get loaded and unloaded dynamically. So that is known as SPA or single page application. So we can make different components, and we know what an Angular component is. Component is actually a special kind of directive which has view associated with it. Okay, so to start with, let us create, I'll say a new folder, and in this folder let us say we have got views, different views, or you can give any appropriate name as per what suits you. Now inside this I make a new folder. Say I have got a different view. Say I've got a trainings page, an academy's website where they provide, or a learning a training institute's website where they have got different pages for different technologies. Say for example I make java dot, let me name it component, or whatever you can name it, just give it some meaningful name, ts. Okay, so here I will say import component from Angular core. Okay, then we make a component decorator. Okay, and over here you can create a template for this. So let us keep it very simple. So I will write an embedded template over here, and here I will say for example I give div h1, and this is Java page, and then slash h1 slash div. So in div I can give some styles as well. Okay, so let me give the style is equal to, I give width colon, or you can give style in the styles CSS, but I'm just hard coding it. So width is equal to say 350 pixel, height is equal to say 200 pixel, and background color colon say hash green. Okay, that's it, and then I will export it as a class so that I can use it in other components. So export class, let me give it the name Java component. Okay, that's it. Now let us copy this and create another component. Say new file, let me name it as say Android dot component dot ts, and here I'll paste it. Only I will name it as, instead of Java, let me name it as Android, and let me write here, so did change the text, this is Android page. Okay, so two of our component is ready. Now we come to app component.html, our main component. Okay, the main component which we already have, app component, and then we have got app component.html. Okay, app component HTML is what we are looking at. And if we come to app component, so we already know what are these components. These you'll get by default. So here I've got nothing. I just have title string as routing demo, and selector I am taking as my own, and then app.component.html is the template it is referring to. So in this HTML file, let me type it. In fact, I have already kept it copied so that we save some time in copying so much. So there is an anchor called, there's an anchor tag. Inside anchor tag we are using a directive, and Angular, this directive we get from Angular core only, that is router link. So I mean it's already there in Angular, this router link directive. Okay, so instead of home, let me write Java and say Android, and let me make one more Android Java. Let me make one more home component, because by default it should land in the home component, right? So instead of this, let me call it as home. I'll explain you what these are. Home, and this should be Java. Okay, I think I have copied pasted extra, so let me delete it. It's not required. Okay, so this is an anchor link. You know, to make a hyperlink we use anchor link, and then we just give an attribute router link. Now this router link is not ready yet. I've just mentioned it, that if I click on link slash in the URL slash nothing, just localhost 4200, then home page will come. If I click slash Java, then Java will come. If I click on this link Java, it will take me to this link slash Java. So here whatever link name I give inside this, it will just route me to that link, simple as that. So here I have written that if somebody clicks on Java, the word Java, the hyperlink, it will take me to a URL called slash Java and URL called slash Android. Okay, like over here when we start this page, let us start localhost 4200. Okay, we still have to, we have not created the page fully, so that is why this is coming as error. It is a partially completed page. Okay, so now I come to android.component or app.component. Yeah, android.component is just a subview. Okay, now first thing, let's first come to, because see why it is giving error, because Java and Android component, okay, or this router link, these are not still visible, so we have to define it in the module. So before that, let's do one thing. Now let us create one routing configuration file. Okay, so I'll just say create a new file in src folder, and let us call it as app.route.ts. okay, so we create a route.ts file. Okay, and here we will give the routing configuration. So now how does routing configuration works, I'll explain you. So first let me define this routing configuration over here. Okay, so now let us import. First we need to import from Angular router. So from Angular router we will import a component called, there are many components, so right now we need, because we are defining the routes for it, route configuration. So for that you have got route. Okay, routes, you see all this in the drop down comes, so choose routes. So we have to import this, and after that we simply have to export. Okay, we simply have to before importing that, before exporting, you have to import both this Java component and Android component. Java component from dot slash, so what was the folder name? Views slash, it's views, right? Yeah, sorry, I have forgotten to give this quotes, single quotes. So views slash, so this is Java components. I'll take Java component and let me quickly copy paste. Yeah, so here we'll import Android component. It's Android component only because it's showing Android dot component. Yeah, now it is fine. Okay, one more component we have to make, that is home component. So new file, so let us quickly create home dot ts. Okay, so let's simply copy from here and paste it over there. It will save us some time. So template, so for home it will be, say, some different color I take. So let me take it for home, I take red color, red, and this mix some different color, it will come, and I'll say this is home page. Okay, and for Android page we already written this is Android page, but the color we are giving it as, let us give it red page, red color. Okay, so in fact it is better to write an external URL, because since I'm giving a color code, so it is okay, so it may have an issue, but anyway, let's first complete this, then we will debug if any issue comes. Okay, so right now we have create, now we come back to app route, and we also export home component, import home component. Okay, so instead of Java component, so any order you can write it, but anyway I'm just trying to maintain the order, and it should be home dot component. Okay, so it is showing some error in the component name. Oh sorry, I have forgotten to rename it, because simply I copied pasted. Now it should be fine. Okay, then after that you have to say, after you have imported the routes, so just say export. Now you can export this as a constant variable, just like we export the class. So const is the keyword. Why we are taking constant? Because this will not change, it is not dynamic. Okay, so export const, then let us name it as routes, and the data type, even if you don't give data type it should work, but it is better to give a data type, routes. Okay, equals an array. Okay, so it will be an array, and this array will contain your path configuration. So path configuration will be, say, path will be the keyword, say first path, let's keep it as empty. If it is empty, then what component will it is a path mapping actually, so it will fetch the component home component. Okay, now let us copy this and paste this. So this is the main configuration we are making. Okay, now if path is other than home, so if the path is, say, Java, in the URL if I have Java, so it will be Java component. If the URL is Android, if in the URL the word Android is there, then it will refer the component Android component. Okay, so let us give some space as for better readability. Fine, so we have made our configuration. Okay, component configuration. Now we need to tell the application module that these are the things packaged inside my module. So you have to come to app module. So what we did, let me just shrink this a little bit. Okay, now app component.ts has nothing other than this simple, so there is nothing much. So we come to app component.html. so in HTML we see that there is a router link. Okay, and one more thing before placing that, there is also this router outlet. When you are programming your Angular app to have routing, then you need to have this placeholder called router outlet. So I'm just placing it in a div. You can place it without div also, not a problem, just router outlet. This is very important, you have to place router outlet. So the router outlet will tell where to place your component. So it will place the component just after this. Okay, just near to this router outlet. So this is a placeholder. Okay, so now we are done with this part. Now let us come to the main part, that is app module, where you have to define the module. So first you have to import all the three components. First you import home, okay, from, so home component is inside views and home.component. Okay, so similarly I copy for the other two as well. Control C, Control V, Control V. Okay, and then I change it to, say this should be Java component, and this should be Java.component, and then this should be Android component, and this should be Android. Okay, and then I have to, because components will be placed in declarations, so this would be Java component. This we already learned in our previous session, that in module where does component pipes and directive goes, and where does modules goes. So these already are discussed in the previous sessions, if you remember, so you can revisit if you have forgotten. Okay, so this way we have packaged it over here. Okay, still it is giving some kind of error. Let's see what it is. Okay, it is saying template parse error. Okay, can't bind to a router link since it isn't a node. Okay, because router link it is not able to understand what it is. Okay, so no issues. So that we will just put over there, we'll import it and it should work fine now. Okay, now coming to the module part. Okay, so we have to even import routes, the routes which we have defined, that is app route. So what is the name of the component? It's a routes. So let us first import this as well. Okay, routes from dot what was the name of the file? App.route. App.route. Yes, this is the file. Okay, now you have to import one more module. You have to import now, because see, I am taking a route file, route configuration and router link I am using. Okay, so these things needs to go within a router module. There is already a router module which we have, okay, in Angular. Okay, in Angular framework we already have a router module, so this thing should go in a router module. Okay, so you have to import router module as well. Okay, so let us import router module. So this belongs to the Angular framework itself, so I'll say import from, okay, so at the rate angular slash router. So this is also part of angular router only. Okay, so I will say module. Okay, this is important, router module. Okay, so just take this router module, and where does module goes? See, all the component goes in declarations array, and modules will go in imports array. See, already browser module, forms module, these are already there by default. So I'll put it over here, router module dot. So in router module there is a method called for root. Okay, so in this method you have to pass the configuration, in this method you have to pass the route configuration. Now where is my route configuration? If you remember, it is within routes, right? If you go to app.route.ts, revisit this, see all the configuration is here. You can, if you want, you can just take this part directly without making this file, this part directly in app.module you can declare and give the variable name over here, but I am keeping it in a separate file. Okay, okay, it is saying has no exported member routes. Okay, okay, somehow this routes is not getting exported. Let's see why. So export constant routes. So what I see, I don't see any mistake over here. Export constant routes, this is fine enough. Then why is it saying a problem? Oh, sorry, let's see why. Yeah, now it has come. I don't know what was the mistake, I didn't do anything. Okay, so you see, by default, if in the URL, see, nothing is there, the home page displays. Sorry, not. See the path, just check the path. Path is empty means home component will be displayed. If you append Java in the path, then Java component will be displayed. If you append Android in the path, this will be displayed. So in app component.html, on this hyperlink I am giving, somebody clicks on this home hyperlink, nothing is there, so home is getting displayed. If somebody clicks on Java hyperlink, it will just append /Java to it, and once it appends /Java, then see what app route says, that if there is Java in the URL after this root URL, the main base URL I mean, then display Java comment. So let's see if it displays. So I just click on Java. Okay, some error. So what is the error? Cannot match any route URL Java. Okay, maybe some case mistake or something like that I have done. Let's see what it is. So here I have written path should be Java, and okay, and in template, let us come to template, that is app.component.html. okay, so template I have given /Java, J is capital by mistake, so I have to make it small. So same way, let us make Android also small. So now let us again compare it. So Java and Android, J and A are small. Okay, fine, should work fine now. So now I click on Java, so this is a Java page. I click on Android, this is an Android page. Okay, see how easy it is to route. Now let me summarize it once again before I wrap up, like what are the steps we took and why we took the step. Now as you see the running application, so it will be more easy for you to relate this. Okay, first of all, let us come to app component.html file. First what I do is I create my custom views, that is Android component, a very simple one. Okay, no selector is required, just template. I am keeping it as simple as possible. A home component saying this is home page, and Java component saying this is Java page. That was step number 1. Now step number 2, I create a new TypeScript file called app.route, where I'll define my router configuration. Now this app.route should contain one variable, a constant variable. You can name it anything. I have named it as routes, and it will be of data type routes. Okay, so this routes you have to import from angular.router. So since I want this to be visible to other component also, that is why I am using the export. So whatever you export becomes visible to the other components. So here I can define an array of routes. So there will be 2 key pair values. one is path, another is component. So path will contain the path pattern, URL pattern after the base URL, and component will be the mapping with that pattern. So if it is empty, display home component. If in the URL Java is appended, display Java component. If in the URL Android is appended, display Android component, right? This is the second step. Now the third step is, I go to this HTML, the main HTML, main components HTML, that is app component.html, and here you have to, the most important thing is you have to place a router outlet, the placeholder. You have to place that router outlet, because if you see, come over here, just view the source, or just press F12 to inspect this. Let us inspect this element and just see this. See, if you see this, it appears after router outlet. Okay, sorry, I think I mentioned before in my first previous, I don't know if I mentioned before, but it should come just after router outlet. Okay, whatever I'm placing will come as an ng component. So router outlet is the placeholder which will say that, okay, just beside this your routed file will come. Okay, so router outlet is important, that is the second step. And then in anchor tag you can use a ready-made directive called router link, which is already present in Angular. So this router link will automatically, I'm not using href. Href is simple plain vanilla attribute for HTML. So if I use href, then it will directly just try to find Java, that's it. It will not search for anything. It will just see and it will say page not found. But if I say router link, then it will actually search it from a router if any route has been defined for this, and display it accordingly. Okay, so router link and is the attribute which I have to give, and here within square bracket, see, mind this syntax, double quotes, and within that, inside the square bracket, then within single quote you have to give the link, router link. Actually it is an array kind of thing, or square bracket. Fine, just like we give in array, just the square bracket or attributes. Okay, this is the, so these are the second step. Okay, now third step, as we know that we have to tell the application module. Inside module we have to say that what are the things, what are the different components and modules that is being packaged in app module. So in app module, the first important thing you have to do is first router module, import router module. This is required because everything will be packaged inside this router module, otherwise routing will not work. The next step will be import all the components and the routes that you have. So these are the component and route that we have defined. So I'm importing this. So all these components will go in the declarations array, as we have learned from the previous session, and this routes will be a parameter of this router module. So router module, because since router module is a module, so it will go in the imports array, and router module has got one method in which you can give the parameter of the route configuration, and this whole thing will itself become a module, a new module. This whole thing returns a module, so that is why it goes in the module part. So router module dot for root routes, and we are done. So wherever we will click it now, so it is so easy, and it is so much cleanly separated page, so it will enhance our development process and we can scale our application very easily. So this was the concept of basic routing. Now there's more to routing which we'll learn in the next sessions, next upcoming sessions. So I'll cover with the video tutorials. So just stay tuned for further concepts on routing, and I hope this tutorial was fruitful for you and you had a good learning experience. So thank you very much for watching my video, and if you like my video, then please press like and share it with your friends, and if you have any queries and comments, then please feel free to post the comments and I'll try to address them as soon as possible. Thanks very much, and bye bye.